So, as many of you know, part of our unfortunate side of moving up here is we weren't able to bring our pets because of Canada. So, it's been kind of lonely not having a dog or a cat around. So, in one of our earlier videos where we did the dog days and we did the mushing, the lady that Phyllis rode with, she had a family emergency and she had to leave back to Colorado. Part of that was she had to rehome a bunch of dogs and we wanted a doggo. So we adopted Blue. And I'm colorblind, so blue and black are really hard for me to see, but I think he's black, but he's named Blue. Let's get our first introduction. Blue, what do you know, puppy? Yeah, this is Blue. He's a part of the family now. He's a good boy. Yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah, he seems to be adapting pretty well. Obviously, he's on the couch, so that's not a good doggy on the couch. But yeah, he's a really good boy. He's really acclimated to the weather. Doesn't have any issues with that. And yeah, I think he's a good addition to our family. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Okay, so today I got a quick little life hack for you that's kind of cool. Now, you remember when we built this system here, what happens is I had a conversation about the pump flows more than the water heater can take, so it's on, off, on, off, on, off. It really sounds weird. So I had two choices to fix that. I either get a water heater with a higher gallons per minute, GPM, or I get a pump with a lower gallons per minute, GPM again. But there's another way to fix it. Okay, this is 12 volt. So on a 12 volt system, you can slow those motors down with resistors. That's how your blower motor in your truck works. Every time you change it to a different speed, it's a different resistance to the motor and it slows the motor down. So here's what I did to make this work, and it has worked awesome, by the way. You see these a lot. It's a standard Chrysler resistor, okay? And what it does is it reduces it by about 1.5 volts, and I've still got it fused, but listen to it now. So it runs a whole lot slower, and the water heater can keep up. So you can actually take a hot shower. It's pretty awesome. But today, with what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be using quite a bit of water. So I'm actually just going to unplug it and run it directly to the battery without the resistor in there, so I can get more water. But for taking showers and having actual hot water without the constant surging, that has worked awesome, and it was under $2, and I was able to make it so we had continuous hot water. All right, that's your life hack from Alaska for today. Okay, so what we're going to do today, it's 20 some below out, not very nice, so we're going to do a little bit of cooking. A little bit about me. I spent about 5 years working in an Italian restaurant, really pretty famous for the area where I lived, and I made Italian food, and most importantly, I ate Italian food. So today we are going to make CAVATELLIs and chicken and cheese stuffed raviolis. So I'll get started on this and let me know what you think. But one of the most important parts of this is having a dough recipe that isn't going to be too firm, because you won't be able to roll it, and not too soft because it'll be too sticky. You can kind of adjust that in the mixer a little bit with just a tablespoon of flour or a tablespoon of warm water, but you don't want to do any more with that than that. Here's the recipe that I'm going to use. So I have used this recipe several times, and it has really good results. So let's get to it. First, we're going to make up a couple batches of dough. I'm I'm using a KitchenAid, like I suppose anyone will. And lift it up. Let's see, I'm gonna do 2 eggs. Of course, I got a shell in there right away. Get out of there. I put a little bit of basil in there. I think it's kind of nice, but this time I'm going to use just an Italian seasoning. It actually goes right in the dough. It's kind of nice. Gives it a little bit of flavor. There's that. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Got my 1/2 teaspoon. A teaspoon of olive oil. And what we do is we put everything except the flour in there and mix it up. So now I've got 27 teaspoons of warm water, which turns out to be 5 ounces. Do keep it close to that. If you go one over, you go one under, it's not the end of the world. You can make it up with flour or adding water, but you want to be close. So, and it's warm water on this. I've already warmed up my water on the stove. And usually when I do this, I will do like 4 batches at one time, because the dough, after it's mixed up, it's got a lot of stress in it, you know, it's pulling back and forth. That'll let it kind of rest, and you'll get a lot better results with that. So now I'm going to put in 2 cups of flour, right? 3 cups of flour, my bad. And I usually keep the mixer going on low while I'm adding it. I'm using a dough hook on this too. And making dough, it's a lot of force on the mixer too, so I make sure that my head is locked, otherwise it will bounce. And you want to get it thoroughly mixed so that you don't have any dry spots in the dough. Otherwise that won't make good cavatellis at all. And the consistency of the dough makes a huge difference. And once it comes away from the bowl, you can see it here, it kind of comes away on the sides there, then that's when it's about ready. So we'll shut that off. We'll shut that off, we'll pull it out, we'll set it up so it can rest, and we'll start right away on another one. And you want to check it, you know, when you take it out, make sure that it's not, you know, this one's a little bit sticky, but the consistency is good. And as it sits and rests, it will, it'll kind of blend together a little bit. So, and by the time I'm done with this today, this kitchen is going to be a huge mess. There will be flour all over the place because I use a lot of it on the table, keeping stuff from sticking. So, I'm going to put flour right on the butcher block. That will keep it good. And we'll start another one. Blue seems pretty excited about all this. I think he thinks I'm making him snacks. What do you think, Blue? Are we making snacks? Yes, we're making snacks. You're a good dad. Oh yeah, and if you wondered, I am running the generator while I'm doing this. This takes a little bit of wattage here to run, so I'm just gonna make it easier on the solar system. It's not charging much anyway. Probably doesn't help that the solar panels are half covered with snow, but it's supposed to snow again tomorrow, so I'm not gonna get too excited about it. We haven't been getting a whole lot of daylight as it is. I always like to kind of knead it together too, just to make sure that we're nice and consistent, that it's all mixed. And if you keep your hands wet when you do this, it won't stick to your hands. That's a very helpful tip as well. And we will start on the third one. And you can do this by hand. I mean, you don't have to have a machine to do it. It just, I don't know. By the time I'm done doing this, because when I do this, I usually do it in bulk, and then we freeze a bunch of it, and that way we've got it for all winter. And we did pick up a freezer the other day. Nice thing is it's 22 below out, so we don't even need to plug it in. So I got plenty of freezer room right now. It's just a little one, but works good. Like my can koozie, it's a redneck fridge. Actually, I think I may have accidentally taken it from my son. He's back in Wisconsin, so I guess he'll have to come up here and get it. Remember, if it seems a little bit too dry, you can just add 1 teaspoon of water. If it seems too wet and sticky, add a teaspoon of flour. Just kind of tweak it while it's in there. And don't over mix it. If it doesn't all seem to be coming off the walls like I showed you, that's okay. If you over mix it, the more you mix it, the tougher it gets. Later on, when I start making the raviolis, I'll have dough left over from that, and a lot of times I try to mix that in and try to run it through the CAVATELli machine, and a lot of times you just can't. You got to let it rest a long time, and it will start to come together, but a lot of times it's not going to do it. It's too tough. You can't even roll it. So there we have 3 rolls, or 3 dough balls. So we're going to let them sit, and then this is where a lot of the water gets absorbed into the flour when you let it rest like this. Part of the reason why you let it rest, just like bread dough. And on the downside, I don't believe we actually brought a roller from Wisconsin. You're going to want to use lots of flour with this. And if you don't, they'll all be stuck together. And I put it right on here too. It helps keep the stuff from sticking. So we'll start with the first one. And I don't actually have a roller. It's nice to have a roller because you can make it an even thickness. What I do, I just lay it out like that. You know, it's maybe 3/4 of an inch thick or so. And you can cut it with a knife. I like, honestly, using a pizza cutter. It's fast, it's easy. So you just slice off a chunk. And about 3/4 to an inch wide. And you can control it as it goes. There you are. It's rolled up. So now, make sure they're good and floured. And we're going to send it through this machine. Let's see, kind of show you this. So here's the machine itself. Okay, I can't get it all the way on, so that's why I've got that towel there so I don't fill the drawer with flour. And it just cranks like this. And inside of here, I don't know if I can get that shot. Inside of here are ridges. So as this goes around, it rolls the CAVATELli, and that's how they get their distinctive shape. So hopefully you can see this. And usually I go fairly slow with it. Seems like if you crank it out too fast, they start sticking in there and making a mess. So when it's done, that's what it looks like. It's just kind of rolled and it's got the ridges on it. It's pretty neat. So we'll get a bunch of these made, and then we'll boil them up, and then we'll let them rest, and we can freeze them. But you kind of control how it's going through here. Don't send a great big wad through it, because it won't work. And there you go. And I always get some flour on them too. It keeps them from sticking while they're in there. And I always have flour nearby. I keep the top of it full. It just keeps everything from sticking. always move them out right away too, otherwise they'll have a tendency to want to start sticking together. So there, that is one roll, one thing of dough all rolled out. So what we're going to do now, I have had some water kind of heating up on the wood stove just to make it a little bit easier, and I'm going to get that up to a good rolling boil, and then we are going to drop these cavatilles into the water, and they just stay in there until they float. And once they float, they're done. You can drain them. I try to reuse the water because you can go through a lot of water in this process, but you can only get 1 or 2 batches out of it because the flour really gums up the water. And then I put a little olive oil, I'll show you that, over the cavatilles, and I rinse them in cool water, gets them cooled off, stops them from sticking together. And when I'm done making cavatilles for the day, we'll freeze them up. So yeah. It's important to get them a stir right away too, otherwise they will start sticking together and you'll have cavatille globs. And as you can see, I got these up to a boil. Once they get to a boil, they all float, and then we rinse them. And after we rinse them, we always run them in some cool water. Stops the cooking process. Right. And then we will dump the water right back in the kettle for the next batch. So once these are rinsed, I'm going to use this as my container for them. Oopsies. That's enough. There. So they get cool. And a little bit of olive oil on top. Keeps them from sticking. A quick mix. And this is what we have from one batch of dough. So I'm going to keep going. I got at least 2 more that I'm going to do, and then we'll go on to some raviolis. Okay, here's what we're doing. Sorry, no introduction before this one. It's still really cold out, but I needed a break from the kitchen. So we are going to set up a couple of rabbit snares and see if we can't catch dinner for tomorrow. I built these just out of 035 welding wire. I didn't have stainless wire like a lot of people use. So all I did was I wrapped one end, I don't know if you can see this, it's kind of long. I wrapped one end around a nail, and then I just twisted it up like so, and the wire will go back through there and get secured to a tree. So I'm going to see if I can get one set up here. I saw a bunch of rabbit sign here before, and lo and behold, there's tracks again. We got snow this week, so the only tracks I would see now would be fresh. So let's hope they're moving tonight. All right, I'll set you up here. So what I did here, I placed the 2 snares and I placed a chin up stick so it kind of makes them lift their head at the last minute. So that's these little sticks here and over here, one on each side of the tree. They seem to cross there pretty regular. It's been a while since I've been out here, but we got fresh snow and I'm not seeing as many tracks as I had before. Go figure. There's been a lot of fox and coyote out here, so I'll see if I can't catch dinner tomorrow. We'll check this first thing in the morning. If you don't, either a fox or a raven or an eagle or something will get it before you can get there. So, all right, it's starting to get dark out here, so we'll test these 2. I'm not very happy with this wire. It has quite the memory to it, and it doesn't want to stay where I put it. So I guess we'll find out if we're successful tomorrow, if they're all just gone or what. Okay, let's get out of here. She's getting dark. Okay, so we made the CAVATELLIs, ended up making 6 batches of them, and this is what I got right here. Okay, so now we're going to vacuum seal these. I didn't really buy a good one. Usually I always buy the really good ones, but the vacuum sealers, they got a lifespan, and the little pump in them tends to wear out and they get weak over time. I had a really nice one back home, but it too was 3 years old, so I bought kind of a cheap one, but let's try it and see how it works. This is the one I got here. The LEM Max Vac 100. I assume if it was a Max Vac 1000, it would be a lot better, but this is what we got. So let's set you up here and we'll vacuum seal some stuff. Where's the ones that I bought? Oh, puppy. Are you gonna help, Blue? I don't think you're gonna help, Blue. Not at all. You haven't been helpful all day. No. What did I do with the ones I just bought? I tell you what. I can lose stuff in a small house like nobody's business. That's what we needed. I brought a bunch of bags with me. The Ziploc ones are really good. But I bought some of the ones here that go with the vacuum. So never tried these before. But the one that I had before, you put the roll inside the vacuum sealer and then you'd open it up and it had a knife across the top, so you just cut them to length. It was really, really slick. We'll end up getting one of those again, but the old school ones, you have to make the bag. When you buy the bags are just a tube. They're a roll like this. See? They're a roll like this. This is just one continuous tube. Well, if you don't have a good way to cut them or anything, they don't they don't work that good. I bought those for the vacuum sealer that I used to have. So this one here, I went and bought some of their bags that are already made up, so they're sealed on one end. So that should make life a little bit easier. I just don't like wasting the material. So let's give her a shot. Wow, that is a really small bag. Holy cow. Really? That's like way too small. What am I going to put in that? I don't know if I can get a meal in there. See, and now because I put olive oil on the CAVATELLIs, they just come apart real nice. They're all cooled off and ready to go. Oh, that's barely a meal. These are really small. I don't like these bags, but let's give it a try. It's really important when you put it in the vacuum sealer that it's flat and you don't have any food in between the two. And the edge just has to be over the seal on it, so it'll actually draw the air through. So let's go auto vac and seal. Okay. What's the story here? This is annoying. Doesn't do anything. Oh, this is going to be a long day. It doesn't do anything. Well, okay, let's try this again. I think I gotta press harder. Wow, really? It didn't vacuum anything. Wow. Okay. My first review of the LEM 100 vacuum seal is it's a piece of junk. It doesn't vacuum anything. There's the product. It's full of air. I am not impressed. Not impressed in the least. Well, this will be getting out of here. That's why the good ones cost $200 and this one was $89. So I'm going to have to try to get as much air out of them as possible by hand. That one came out better with me pressing down on it. That's not too bad. I can do that. This thing is junk. It didn't suck any of the air out of there. I don't even know why it vacuums. They should just call it the Max Sealer because it doesn't vacuum anything. Instead of Max Vac. This is probably, I've had 4 or 5 of them. This is the worst one I've ever had. And it's probably the least expensive, but usually the last one we had, we paid about whoa, get crazy, about $250 for it, and that one was awesome. It had the bag cutter in it to take the rolls. That thing was really nice. That one got out, better eat it. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So there's that. That's pretty cool, I think. You know, not a lot of money into it, just some time. There's a way that you can make cavatellis kind of with your thumb. I've never actually tried to do that, mainly because I have the machine. But, yeah, I don't know. Pretty cool. So, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make some raviolis. So, I'm going to get some dough started for that, and we'll show you how to do that. That's fun, and those are delicious. So, all right, I'm going to get going. Okay, so now I have made 3 balls of dough again, and I'm going to make the filling for the raviolis. The filling is pretty simple. It's just cheese. It could be any kind of cheese you want. I'm using some leftover turkey from Turkey Day, eggs, and a little bit of parsley. And then the dough rolling, well, that's a little different. So let's mix up the filling here quick, and we'll get out to rolling some dough. You want to shred the chicken up. It's kind of like you're making a pulled pork kind of thing, but I don't like the strands to be too long in it either. I mean, you're not trying to get bites of chicken. Okay, so there is your turkey in this case. Normally it would be chicken. So we will put some cheese in here. And we will put some Italian seasoning in here. Yeah, about that much. It's good. And then we're going to put some eggs in here. I think I need at least 4. Okay, and let's check the consistency. And again, just like the dough, mix it really, really well before you decide that you need to add another egg or more cheese. You're looking for kind of a, I don't know, something that'll really stick to a spoon, because that's how you're going to fill your raviolis, you see. And the egg just kind of acts as a binder, holds everything together real nice. And you can use whatever cheese you want. I mean, you could put bison in here, you could put venison in here, you could maybe do fish, I guess. I have not tried that. But that's what I'm looking for right there. And that is a filling for the raviolis. We get kind of hard pressed for room here. This is I normally had a spot about 2 feet longer than this to do this on, but let's see what we can do. Now this is a pretty neat one. I can actually, if I wanted to, this is your dough roller here. I could make wide noodles or really skinny noodles here. You still got to roll it out first to get it a nice consistency, but you can make noodles and you just hang them up on a drying rack and it just dries right out. Works really good. You're gonna need a lot of flour for this operation. You got to roll out your dough, kind of get it close, and then keep it floured so it's not sticky. So we'll start with our first one there, and we'll kind of roll it out and get it close to the shape we're looking for. Okay, I think we usually start on a 1 and then we roll it through till we get it onto a 5, and that's about the right. Okay. And you kind of guide it through with your fingers here. You're trying to, your goal is to get it to a uniform width. So you kind of hold it back or let it through. Don't let it bunch up. If it bunches up on top of the roller, it tears it and it's junk. And you can also spread it out. And it's important too that you don't have any holes or bad spots in it, because you'll break your raviolis when you're cooking them, and that's kind of a sad loss, because I really like my raviolis. So we got it through on the 1. We'll take it down to 5 and we'll roll it back through, and that should be our dough. And you don't want to leave it sit in there too long either, because it will start to mess up on you. So you also want to flour here. I'm using a ravioli, I guess like a press. Again, they make little tools, kind of like a pizza cutter with the wiggly shape on it that you can make them out of. I learned how to do it with a press, and then I bought a press. Okay, so that's it. You flour your press first, you pull out your dough, and then we need a spoon. Okay, so we'll use a spoon like this right here. Get our dough right next to us, and you just grab a spoonful like that. And there's a method to it. I used to make hundreds of these a day. But yeah, they're really yummy. And you want to try to keep the filling in the pods, and don't overlap with cheese, because that can make a bad seal on a ravioli as well. What is that, Blue? Sounds like someone just fell right in the house.
Huh?
Yeah, you. Did
Hey,
you?
Pooh Bear. How's my doggy? Oh, big stretch. Hi. You smell like a dog. Did you know that?
He does a little bit.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's gone. Got 14 bags of CAVATELLIs over there.
Oh, Pooh Bear.
Okay, so now, once you got that far, I'm going to roll out the rest of my dough and make a cover for it. Okay, so now,
See?
nice. That's for Jody. Okay, and you see how I got this split here? You definitely don't want that. So I kind of pull that over, because you want to get a good seal on these. Now, you take your roller and you press down, and this will cut in between all your raviolis and make a good seal, hopefully. Just like so. And you pull off the extra. Pull off the extra like so. And then we flip it upside down. And there you are. There's 10 raviolis. Now, all you have to do after this...
We didn't do it right.
What?
Ta-da!
Yeah, ta-da. Beep boop, beep boop, boop. Now, we will drop these in boiling water, just like we did the CAVATELLIs, and when they float, they're done. Important note, too, when they are done, you always take them out and you dry them off first. get them nice and dry before you freeze them. Otherwise, they stick together and kind of make a mess. So I am going to make a few more here quick. Wish I had a cookie sheet. I can't find any. It's impossible.
I know, because it's not in a drawer.
Because, yeah, if it was in a drawer, I could find it. Hello, Bear. What are you doing, doggy? Just so I can transport these. Or just throw it on the floor. That's what I do.
What we do. Right, Boo Bear? Just throw stuff, make stuff. Has he had supper yet?
He did.
Okay.
I went and set out a couple of rabbit snares.
I did.
Oh yeah, and I think I took a nap.
Weird.
Yeah. I tried not to.
Did you really try?
Well, not really. I mean, once I laid down and closed my eyes, it seemed like I wasn't even trying. Okay.
Oh. Am I really? You're mad because I'm in your spot, aren't you? Is that what you're mad about?
Blue Bear can't be good. Dang it. See, now I cut that piece of chicken too long and it don't fit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I left the other generator sit outside for a couple hours without running. It wouldn't start.
Oh,
Apparently, you only need generators when it's warm out.
great.
Because it just aren't going to start in the cold.
The little one wouldn't start?
The big one.
Oh.
I ran the big one for probably 4 hours. See, you cover them up just like they're in a blankie. See, here's the spot where I got a hole. So you just pinch that shut and then pray that it stays. You're done.
So in conclusion,
Well, in conclusion, made quite a haul today. Show them that's the raviolis that we made. That's the 14 bags of CAVATELLI that we made. And I'm giving some of them to a friend. He gave us some caribou and stuff, and he's never had this, so I'll give him some. But all in all, we can throw it in the freezer, and that'll keep us going for months.
Yeah.
I imagine Sid would like us to just fill a cooler with it all and send it directly to Wisconsin for
Merry
Christmas. But
Christmas.
yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Oh.
This is a lot of work, but now we have the mess to clean up. And this is the point in my life when I really miss the dishwasher. But I'm not going to say it, Phyllis. I'm all grown up now.
Now?
Now, just happened while you were gone.
Okay.
When I took a nap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
doubt it.
yeah. If you liked it, definitely, obviously subscribe. But comment
Give us a
on
thumbs up.
it. Yeah, give us a. Wow. If we had a bloopers tape after these, I tell you.
Wow.
No, give us a big thumbs up, a like, subscribe, and comment on it. I mean, if you like this, if you thought it was awful and you don't like Italian food,
I'm sorry.
yeah, that's too bad because this is really good stuff. And the raviolis are a neat way to use up some leftover turkey that we had from Turkey Day. So, yeah, there we go.
Right?
All right. Love you. Bye. I got to do a quick update here. I talked some smack about that vacuum sealer because it's cheap. But what it really is, it wasn't the vacuum sealer's fault. It was the bags. I don't know what those bags are for. They're maybe for the other kind of sealer that, I don't know, it's like an atmospheric sealer. Maybe that's what it's for. But those bags don't, here, I'll show you. This is a Ziploc style bag that I use. If you look on it, I don't know if you can see, but there's all these little bumps and these ridges on there. So what happens with this style bag, when you close it in the vacuum sealer, it draws air through all those little channels, and that's how it vacuums. Well, the bags that I used that came with the vacuum sealer, they're just smooth. So when you close the door, it's sealed. That's it. You're not drawing anything through that because it's pressed down hard. So I tried some of my bags and it actually worked really good. So sorry about that, Lem Mighty Vac 100. It really doesn't work too bad. For $89, I can't complain. So that's just my 2 cents worth. I didn't want to leave it out there, and it's really not a bad vac. It's not nearly as nice as the ones with the roll inside, but for, you know, what we have right now, it worked good. So sorry about that. There's my retraction. All right, love you, bye. It's hard to believe, but it's actually prettier out here than it was yesterday. Snowed a couple of really light fluffy inches, and I'm gonna go check those 2 rabbit snares I put out yesterday. Let's go see. Nope, we got skunked. That's okay. Ooh. Yeah, maybe they just hunkered down because it was snowing last night, but it's gonna start snowing a lot more today, so we shall see. Check them again tomorrow morning, maybe, before I go to work. All right, that's all I got.